Good morning. I have a newspaper in my hand. Can you read that? So it's an advertisement from Vasant and Co. So it was released a few days ago in the Hindu newspaper. Well, I was interested in one combo offer. Can you see that combo offer? It's here. Combo offer. Now they say they give a double cot, wooden double cot mattress, steel bureau, and then a three-seater sofa for 41,990. So I was much interested. So I want to write a mail to them. So how do I start? How do I start writing a mail to Vasant and Co. to get more information about the product? So I was interested in the combo offer. So I go like this. So first I write the to address, Vasant and Co. at yahoo.com. And then I don't know to whom I should write. The name is not given. So to be on the safe side, I start with, Dear Sir, Madam. And then I start like this. The first opening sentence. I saw your advertisement in the Hindu, 10th July. I saw your advertisement. I saw your advertisement in the Hindu of 10th July. And the next sentence I say, I am interested in the combo offer. I am interested. I am interested in the combo offer. And then what I want, see, they are giving us 4 products. The cot, the mattress, and then the bureau, and a cupboard. So I want to know the manufacturer of those products. So I want a brochure of those individual items. So how do I ask for it? So I need to ask them politely. So I use this phrase. Could you please send me the brochures of the individual items. Individual items in the combo offer. And then finally I say, looking forward to your reply. So this is how I close the mail. Looking forward. And then I end regards. I write my name. So this is this mail is called a request mail. I ask for some information about a product. I request some information. So I need to write some subject. So that is in mail, that is a subject line. We call it subject line. So it comes above. So subject. So what is that subject which I want to focus on now? I'm asking for something. The subject has to be written in simple words, not lengthy. You should not use long sentences. The subject should be short, and then tell the reader what I am talking about in the mail. So what I am talking about in the mail, I am asking for brochure. That is what I want. So that has to be included in the subject. So what is the subject? Request for brochure. So in this mail, there are actually 5 important elements. So let us see one by one. What are the 5 important elements in the email? So the first one is the subject. So every email should have a subject. That's very important. Now you should not leave that column blank. And then comes, dear sir, madam. So it is called a greetings or salutation. That is very important. And then this is the opening sentence. I saw your advertisement in the. I straight come into the subject. I do not beat around the bush. My first sentence, tells about the subject. I saw your advertisement in the Hindu of July 10. And then this is the body of the mail. I am interested in the combo offer. Could you please send me the brochure of the individual items in the combo offer? I asked them to act. So the request for action. And finally, I'm closing this with this phrase. Looking forward to your reply. This is again another important phrase, which is used in emails. Looking forward to your reply. And then ending, regards. This is a very common ending. Regards is a very common ending. So this is one sample mail. Now, I am the prospective customer of Vasant & Co. I saw their advertisement, I got attracted by it, and then I write a mail. So the customer write a mail. Now the supplier will respond. Okay. So we'll see that mail also. So before we see that mail, the response of the supplier, I want to tell you something about this whole program which we are going to about the email English program which we are going to speak about today. So in this program, so we will be learning the structure of a mail, and then we will be learning the importance of all these elements in the mail: the subject line, the opening sentence, and then the closing sentence, and then the ending the mail. All these are very, very important. So we will be focusing on the structure of the email, and then we will be seeing a number of sample mails. That's one thing. And again, we will be looking into the standard phrases which are being used in emails. So what are the standard phrases I have used in this mail? I am interested. It's one of the standard phrases. I am interested in the offer. And then what are the other standard phrases which I have used in this mail? Could you please send me? Very, very, one of the commonly used standard phrases. Could you please send me Could you please give me? So that's one very commonly used standard phrase. And then coming to the end, looking forward to your reply. That's again another standard phrase. So we'll be looking into the standard phrases which are used in emails. And then, so we'll be dwelling on the common mistakes which email writers do. And then, so I'll be giving you some tips. And finally, tips on writing emails. And finally, so we'll be talking about how to improve, the road to continuous improvement, the road to excellence. How one can improve continuously, and how one can improve, how one can write better and better email. So what's way by which he or she can do that? The road to excellence. So that's what the thing which we will be seeing in this 1 hour program. Now we are going to see some more sample mails. So this is a sample mail. Okay. So I have sent an inquiry, and then I asked for some information. I have requested some information from the supplier. So what is the name of this mail? Request mail. I have sent a request mail. Now let us see how the supplier would respond. So how will the supplier normally respond? So he will acknowledge the mail which I am sending to him. He will say, so to Raja Kumar _ Joseph at yahoo.com. So this is my mail ID. So he is replying to this mail ID. And then he says, Dear Raja Kumar, this is one of the finest way to begin the mail. Finest way of salutation, greetings, dear Raja Kumar. And then he says, thanks for your mail. Thanks for your mail. So this is one of the ways to acknowledge the recipient about something he has done, about the mail which he has sent. So I have sent a mail to him, and then he has acknowledged it. He says, thanks. Thanks for your mail. I have attached the brochures of items in the combo offer. I hope this will be useful. And then he says, if you have any clarifications, please do not hesitate to contact me. So he is our supplier. He is a supplier. So he does not want to miss the opportunity. He wants to establish the contact with us. He wants to maintain that contact. So after all, he needs to sell those items. So he says, if you have, there are a number of ways by which that can be said, the last sentence. If you have any doubt, please contact me at any time. If you have any clarifications, you can reach me at my mobile anytime. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any doubts. There are many ways by which this can be said. So there are a number of phrases. It is called standard phrases. So one of the main objectives in this program is the participants should come to know a lot of standard phrases. So what is the standard phrase which I am going to use now? Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any doubts. Or please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any clarifications. I write that. Please do not hesitate. So hesitate is a good word. Hesitate. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need any further information. So I asked for a brochure. He has sent it immediately. And then he says, if you want any further information, I am ready to give. Please do not hesitate to contact me. If you need any further information. And then he closes with one powerful sentence. See that sentence. I write that sentence. It's a very powerful sentence. Looking forward to doing. So you must use ing form. Looking forward to doing business with you. So looking forward to seeing you, looking forward to meeting you, looking forward to hearing from you. All are ing form. This is ing form verb we must use. So what he says, I look forward. I'm looking forward to doing business with you. What he indirectly says, he wants to sell that product to me. So looking forward to doing business with you. Regards. So this is one standard way of ending, regards. Or you can use best wishes, something like that. So in this context, the communication between your prospective customer and a supplier. So this is okay, regards. And then he writes his name, Mason, regards. So this is the reply mail. So again, we will look into that mail. So the salutation, this is called salutation. Dear Raja Kumar, salutation. And then this is called opening sentence. Thanks for your mail. So you can also say thank you for your mail. What is the difference? The thanks is less formal. Thank you is more formal. So it has one more word, you. So thanks for your mail or thank you for your mail. So immediately comes into the subject. No wasting of time. That's the beauty of email. We don't waste our time. In business world, nobody has got time. Everybody's time is limited. So we need to say what we want to say and then we need to stop. So I have attached the brochures of items in the compo offer. How differently this can be said? Please find attached the brochures of the items in the compo offer. Please find attached. Or you can say, you can use ing form of the verb attached. What is the ing form of the verb attached? I am attaching the brochures. I am attaching the brochures of items in the compo offer. I hope this will be useful. So this is one of the commonly used closing sentence. Commonly used closing. Please do not hesitate to contact me for further clarification. There are many ways by which you can close. I am ready to help if you need any further information. Okay? Get back to me if you want any further data. So a lot of ways by which you can close this kind of mails. Okay, now we will see one more mail, that is job application. So how do you apply for a job? So you saw an advertisement from Hilton Hotel for a maintenance engineer. Okay, and then you're a mechanical engineer, you want to apply for that post. So you write the address to Hilton Hotels at gmail.com. So this is the mail ID. And then in that mail ID, there was one person, his name had been given. So you contact her for any further information. Her name is Susan. So you write, Dear Susan. So it is allowed. You can call her by name. Dear Susan, I saw your advertisement. So I saw your advertisement. Or if you want to write differently, you can use, I want to use a different opening sentence. This I saw your advertisement we used in the previous mail. So let us not use the same opening sentence again. So there are a number of opening sentences, standard opening sentence available to us. So one opening sentence which is very commonly used starts with this. What? I am writing this. Dear Susan, I am writing this in connection with your advertisement, short form for advertisement. I am writing this in connection with your ad in the Indian Express. July 10. So I am writing this connection with your. I want to apply for the post. I want to apply for the post of maintenance engineer. So straight away you come into this subject. I want to apply for the post of maintenance. Now, so after that, what you must write? You must tell something about you. I am a mechanical engineer. I passed out from Alayappa Engineering College. I have got 2 years of experience in maintenance. Even at home, I do all the maintenance myself. So all this you can add to make them recruit you. So that is in between you have to write everything. And then how do you close? How do you close? So you can close this way. And then you have to attach your CV. So you say something about yourself, and then a lot of information cannot be given in the body of the mail. So what you can do is you can send your resume as an attachment. How do you say that? So I have attached, or please find attached my resume for further information. Please find attached. That is the standard phrase. Please find attached my resume. And then you're going to close now. How do you close? I would be grateful if you could give me a chance to work for your hotel. So it's a Hilton Hotels. I would be grateful. So this is one of the common ways to close the mail, such mails. So what do you say? So this is contraction. I would, instead of I would, I can write this. I would be grateful. I would be grateful if you could give me. I would be grateful if you could give me an opportunity. An opportunity. To work in your hotel. So it's a big 5-star hotel, right? So I would be grateful if you could give me an opportunity to work in it. And then how do you, write the final sentence? I look forward. I am looking forward. I am looking forward to hearing from you. This is the standard. I look forward, or I am looking forward to hearing. So please, please reply. So this is the other way of telling the same thing. Please reply. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I want to hear from you. I want to know your opinion. I want to know whether you're going to call me for interview or not. I'm looking forward. One of the common ways to end this thing mail. And regards. Your name. So now one element is missing, that is subject. So what is the subject line? So normally what you can do is don't fill the subject line in the beginning. Normally what most of them do is they write the mail, they write the opening sentence, they write the body of the mail, and then they write the closing sentence, and then they come back to the subject line. So once you write all this, your mind will be clear. So you can choose 1 or 2 powerful words and then fill up that subject line. So what this mail talks about? So I'm applying for a job. So how can you simply say any answer to this question? What should be the subject? What should you fill in the subject line? Very good. Position we are applying for. Anybody, any other answer? Position we are applying for. 5 words are there. then it is not very, powerful. So what did I say about writing the subject line? It should be simple and then it should summarize the whole of the mail. Find a word or words which should summarize the entire mail. Any answer?
Application for the post of maintenance engineer.
Yeah, application for the post of maintenance. That's good. Application for the post of mechanical engineer, maintenance engineer is a good subject line. Now I prefer job application. Now we have one more person with us. So that person, her name is Sophia Ronald. So she is going to talk mainly about the common mistakes most of us make while writing emails. Mostly the mistakes in English, the common mistakes which most of us make in writing mails. So her name is Sophia Ronald. She has more than 10 years of corporate experience. She holds a very high position in a software industry. Now, I request her to interact with us for about 10 minutes. Talk will be focused on common mistakes. Over to Sophia Ronald.
Yeah. Good morning. This is Sophia. I hope all of you are doing fine. I just wanted to speak about some common mistakes which all of us make in a professional environment that can be avoided. So one very common mistake is we generally like how we type text. If, for example, I'm texting someone like, "Are you okay?" So the same way I'm going to apply it in the email, but that is not the correct way of sending a message, right? In email, it should be professional. And if someone sees your email which says, "Are you okay?" it'll look very informal. So that is one mistake a very common mistake which we all make, knowingly or unknowingly. The second thing is sometimes we use fonts. See, our official email has always a standard font in it, but we sometimes use different fonts. We sometimes change the font, make it bigger, either bigger or smaller, and then we add color, but that doesn't seem very professional. So that is another mistake we do. So these mistakes can be avoided. The third is sometimes we mix up our personal and professional emails. So always the professional email should be strictly professional and personal email should be strictly personal. See, we should not send out personal email from our professional account. So that's another thing. Next thing is, for example, just now we saw an application, job application to Dear Susan. Yeah, so if that email, the name of that person, we write it as a different thing. See, we are applying for a job somewhere and the name of the person is Susan. Instead of SUSAN, we type it as SUZAN. So that becomes a mistake in the name we are addressing to. So if it's a job application, it becomes a negative aspect on our end. Like we are not very keen on knowing the person's name before we type. So that is again a mistake. So whenever we address a person, always make sure that we know the person's name correctly before we address them. Spelling mistake is very important. The next thing is capitalize the first letter of every sentence. In this email, if we see, "I am writing this with your ad," then full stop, then "I want to apply," then "I'd be grateful." So all that is in capital. So always remember to capitalize the first letter. And another important thing is, do not capitalize everything. Do not type out an email by clicking on caps lock. So the entire email will be in bold uppercase. According to some experts in the industry, whenever you send out an email which has full uppercase letter, it is something like you're shouting at the recipient. So if you're the sender and that person is the recipient, if you're sending it at full caps, it means that you're shouting at the recipient. So that is a very bad way of addressing an email. That is another mistake. The other one is forgetting or adding a wrong attachment. So I've seen that many times, even in my experience. Somebody doesn't, like, they send, I am attaching the email, I'm attaching the copy for your reference, but then there will not be any attachment. So check twice, thrice before you send out an email that it should have the attachment, and always send out the correct attachment. And next one is do not use, don't have a big, email signature. See, some people have an email signature that is also for one page. So that should not be the point. It should be crisp and sweet. It should be like just your name, the company you're working for, maybe your phone number and email ID. That will be a more smaller and crisper way of addressing the signature. That is another thing. And we'll see some common mistakes which we do. Maybe I'll send out a link also in the chat box so that you can also go and view the common mistakes which we do. So one is like, I am write this email. So as we saw that, I am write this email. So instead of that, it should be, I am writing this email. So that is one. Next one is at the meeting, like with reference to your email. So instead of with reference your email, we should not given like that, with reference to your email. And another one is whenever you're addressing somebody for the first time, for example, you're sending out a job application, instead of I am Sophia, most of us, we mix it up with myself, Sophia. So that is a very wrong thing of addressing oneself. So it should always, and I've seen that mostly in Indian clients, we tend that see that happening. It's like myself, and that is a very wrong way. So it should be I am Sophia, I'm applying for this post, and thank you for the invitation to visit your company. So thank you for the invitation to visit your company. Always remember the prepositions, the first letter, the pronouns, the nouns should always be in capital letter, and comma, full stop. All these are very important in the professional email, because when somebody is reading it, it says more about you whenever you send out an email. So that all this is the pronunciation, the punctuation, the capitalization, the use of correct adverbs, verbs is very important. You can also use spell check. Grammarly is one app where you can use to check your emails, and you can use spell check. If you're having any doubts, you can go to Google, you can spell check and then send out emails. So there are many ways. So always before sending out an email, we should be very mindful of all these small mistakes which we do, and we should avoid them. Thank you.
So I hope you would have got some idea about some of the mistakes which one should not do while writing emails. So now we'll see some more, mails, so sample mails. So why I am, telling sample mails is I want, the participants to know the standard phrases. So in email, if you know the standard phrases, you can really write a great email. So writing, speaking. The writing is, comparatively easier than speaking. Speaking, you don't have time. Writing, you can take your own time, and then you can, write a great email. You can write it, you can rewrite it, you can consult somebody, you can refer some books, you can find out whether you have used the standard phrases or not. A lot of things you can do while writing. Before you, touch the send button, you can do all these things. So that's the greatest advantage. So in writing emails, one needs to learn a lot of standard phrases. So we'll see a few more emails, and then we will go to the general tips. And then we'll also learn being polite and indirect, and then being direct and brief. So we'll see some sample mails, and then we'll go to these three, okay? So invitation. Supposing you are inviting your friends for your child's first birthday. So how do you write such emails? And then you are receiving the invitation. How do you respond to such mails? So you can start like this. I am writing. So I am writing is, as I told you before, frequently used in emails. I am writing to what? I am writing to invite you for my son's first birthday. So this is the first sentence. I am writing to invite you. I am writing to invite you for my son's first birthday. It is being celebrated at Greenfields Hotel. It is being celebrated at on 2nd August. That's the second sentence. The third one is the last one. I look forward. Say you close. I look forward to seeing you on that day. Best wishes. Because you are writing to a friend. You can be formal. You can be very informal. So you close by saying best wishes. So I am writing to invite you for my son's birthday. It's there at that hotel. Please do come. I'll be looking forward to seeing you on that day. So this is the format. And then you are in the other end, you are the recipient of the mail. So you saw the mail. You saw the mail. And then you want to accept the invitation. How do you say? So you may start with this. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting. Thank you, thanks. Thank you is slightly formal. Thanks is slightly informal. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting me. I'll be definitely attend the party. I'll definitely attend. I hope a lot of other friends also would come. Okay? Best wishes. This is how we finish. So these are the invitation, accepting invitation. Supposing you are not in a position to accept the invitation, how do you respond? You say you need to do it politely. So you need to tell a reason also. So again, you may start like this. Thanks for inviting me for your son's birthday. Unfortunately, so that's the word you use. Unfortunately, I have some other plan on that day. Hope to see you again in some other occasion. Hope to see you again in some other occasion. Thanks. Best wishes. Something like that. So invitation, accepting invitation, declining invitation. So complaining. So how do you complain? So you ordered something online. The product has arrived, but it is not working. So you got very upset. So how do you write? And complaining email. I was very dissatisfied by the product which I received this morning from your company. I was very dissatisfied. Very much dissatisfied. When I switched it on, when I switched on the mixie, so it's a mixie. When I switched on the mixie, it made a humming noise and it did not work. Please replace it as soon as possible. So you need to be very firm. So you use that word please, but you are very strict. Please replace. Use correct. You are using that phrase as soon as possible. Please replace it as soon as possible. Looking forward to hear from you at the earliest. So you close by saying, looking forward to hear from you at the earliest. So this is a complaining mail. So normally complaining mail, you don't need to be friendly. So the mail should be formal. So what is formal? What is informal? Impersonal. The formal mail is impersonal. Informal mail is personal. In formal mail, you use lengthy words. Okay? And then you are strict. Now you want to say what you want to say clearly. You want the other person to act. You want the mixie to be immediately replaced. So you have to choose words which go and hit him. So immediately will come and replace the mixie. Now, that fellow, you got your mail and then he wants to apologize. So I tell you one, how to say sorry in mail, how to apologize. So one mail, there are 5 sentences. And then the apologize word is frequently comes in that mail, apology. So how do you apologize? So you may start like this. I am writing with reference to our telephone conversation. So that fellow that fellow did not receive the order on time. So the customer got angry and then he rang up and talked to the supplier. And then the supplier now writes the mail. I am writing with reference to our telephone conversation this morning about your order. That's the first opening sentence. So they had a telephone conversation a few minutes or hours before, and then the supplier is writing this mail. I am writing with reference. So how does he write? I am writing with reference to our telephone conversation this morning about your order. So the sentence is pregnant with a lot of information. One sentence gives a lot of information. So we need to be precise. We need to be to the point. So the goods are being shipped and should reach you in 10 working days. He says the next line. So it is delayed. Now the goods have been shipped and it will reach you in 10 working days. Once again, please accept our apologies. So before that, the second sentence, I forgot to tell you, sorry. What is the first sentence? I am writing with reference to our telephone conversation this morning about your order. Then what is the second sentence? I apologize for the delay. So straight away, no, you have to do this. No other way. If you want to keep your customer, you have to apologize for your mistake. Straight away, straightforward. I apologize for the delay. The goods are now being shipped and it will reach you in 10 working days. Once again, please accept our apologies. So it's a different way of telling sorry again. Once again, please accept our apology. And then he closes like this. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate me to contact me again. So if you have any problem, again call me and scold me. I don't mind. That's what he indirectly says. Poor supplier. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact me again. So this is apologizing. Now we are coming to one important thing while writing emails. That is being polite. No, emails is not the place where you show your anger. Email is not the thing in which you show your displeasure. you don't, you're not supposed to be harsh with people. You are not supposed to be aggressive. You are supposed to be polite and assertive. So we are going to talk of polite language. We are going to learn some polite language. How to be polite? Polite language. Okay. I want someone to shut the door. So this is the thing which I want. I want someone to shut the door. If I simply say, hey, shut the door, that person may get offended. So how do I use the same thing? I want to achieve the same thing. I want the door to be shut. But how do I use my language? So there are many ways by which you can say the same thing. The objective is the door should be shut. Now, how can I use language? Now I may use please. Please shut the door. So please is one of the powerful words that should be frequently used in emails. So it makes a lot of difference. Shut the door, please shut the door. And then next thing, if you want to be slightly more polite, you can say, could you please shut the door? So this is one of the powerful phrases which could be used in emails. Could you please, send me the report? Could you please talk to your boss about this problem? Okay. So could you please? So here it could. It's not can. Can you please is less polite. Could is more polite. So could you please shut the door? And then would you mind? Would you mind shutting the door? Would you mind shutting the door for me? This is another polite way of, would you mind sending the report before August 1st? Would you mind, please? So a polite way of asking for some favor. A polite way of asking someone to do something for you. Polite, be polite. And then one more phrase I want all of us to remember. Very powerful way of asking for something. That goes like this. I would. No, contraction. I would be grateful. I would be grateful. If you could please shut the door. So this expression is also very common in business emails. I would be grateful if you could please do this favor for me. So, while you are being polite, you're at the same time indirect. You are indirect, but then you are also polite. They use many words. So shut the door has got only 3 words. But count the number of words here. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words. I'm using 11 words instead of 3 words. But I'm being very polite. So in emails, please remember, we need to be polite and at the same time assertive. No, we should not hurt others. We should not let others to hurt us. That is being assertive. We don't hurt others. Don't allow others also to hurt you. If someone hurts you, you can write a mail telling them that you are hurt. Not only they will not do it again. Now, you want to say, I can't do this. Someone is asking you for a favor. And then you are not able to do, you don't want to do that. Or you can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So I can't do that. It's very rude. So what can you do? How can you make it polite? You can say one word, sorry. I can't do that. And then in English language, they frequently use one word that is called, I am afraid. I am afraid. That I can't do that. Here, that person is not afraid, literally. So what he is telling is, he's telling you, I can't in a polite way. It's a polite language. Instead of telling, I can't do that, he says, I'm afraid I can't do that. So it's a polite way of telling this. Now, I'm going to write 3 mails, very short mails. And then let us, all the mails have got that word attach or the modified other forms of that word attach. So the first mail is this. So please find my report. And then it's not too late. Let me know if you have any questions. So this is a mail. So here the verb is attach. So what word you must use now? Please find. What is the answer? Yeah, correct. Nitya, you're right. Please find attached. And then what do you write here? Hope. Hope it is not too late. And what do you write here? Anybody?
Let, sir. Let.
Let. Very
No,
good.
if you-
Yeah, let. Thank you. So let me know if you have any questions. So these are some standard phrases. If you see some good mails, you will find a lot of standard phrases used by the writer of the mail. So email writing is, and I can say it is nothing but using standard phrases appropriately. So one has to build his library of standard phrases. So there are a lot of standard phrases used.
So one standard phrase I forgot to tell you, regarding that polite language. Suppose you want to follow up with somebody. So you have sent a mail asking for their reply. They have not replied. It's almost 7 days now. So how do you make them to reply? So you can use this phrase. Forgive me for chasing. Forgive me for chasing. So that is a very powerful phrase. And you can use that word. Forgive me for chasing. I was wondering whether you had time enough to go through my report, which I sent last week. Forgive me for chasing. For I was wondering whether you had the time for reviewing my report, which I had sent last week. So how do you start? Forgive me for chasing. You are actually chasing that person. They want their reply. They have not replied. So likewise, there are good, powerful phrases, which make them to act. In email, words are powerful. The words which are rightly said is like golden apples placed on silver plate. This is one proverb written by King Solomon 2500 years before. The King Solomon was the ruler of the present day Israel. So the words spoken rightly, fittingly, golden apples placed on silver plate. So we need to choose right words. So we need to learn from others. We need to learn the standard phrases. So please find attached this a standard phrase which you can frequently use whenever you attach, files to your mail. And then let me know if you have any questions. This is again a standard phrase which are frequently used. So the attached word, it's a present simple. Attached is a present simple. Attached is past tense. You can also use present continuous. So what is present continuous? ing. I am attaching. I am attaching a number of files for your reference. Please pay special attention to the expense file. I need them back by 16th February at the latest. So I am attaching a number of files. Please pay special attention to the expense file. I need them back by February 16th. So what does the writer says? Writer, attaching something, and then he wants the recipient to act on that. So we need to be very clear. So the email and the snail mail letter, this is the big difference. The email is short, to the point. It makes the recipient to act. So the writer must know that. The writer must make them act. I want the report by February 16th at the latest. So it will induce action because words are powerful. Now, before we wind up, so we are going to see one more important thing, that is subject. So I told you in the beginning, subject, subject line. Subject line, is very important because, the recipient will receive a number of mails. We go through all the mails, the subjects. We go through the subjects field of all the mails. And then he decides whether to open a particular mail or not. So your chance, your mail, the chances of your mail getting opened depends on how powerful the subject line is. So as I said earlier, the subject line should be simple. And then you should sum up the entire mail in 2 or 3 or 4 words. Now I'll give you one exercise. I want you to, identify. I want to write the subject line for this mail. I regret. This is the body of the mail. You have to identify a subject, suitable subject line. I regret to inform that the time for the meeting, for today's meeting, is changed. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. Sorry again. See, regret is one way of telling sorry. Again, he ends the mail repeating the same thing. Sorry again. Thanks again. So you start by expressing your thankfulness. Again, you express, I apologize. Sorry again to apologize. Sorry again. So you start with the same thing, and then you end with the same thing. Sorry for any inconvenience. Sorry for any inconvenience caused. So these are I request the time for today's meeting is changed. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. Sorry for any inconvenience caused. So this is the message. What should be the subject line? It's a question. Anybody? Very good. Change in meeting time. Very good. Change in meeting time. Yes, any other answer?
Meeting rescheduled.
Meeting rescheduled. Meeting rescheduled. Okay. So one more is meeting time changed. Meeting time. So that is what is changed, 6 p.m., 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that is the focus, the meeting time. So what happened to the meeting time? It has been changed. The meeting changed. Okay, now before we wind up, I'm going to give you some tips. So the first tip is be very careful about the subject line. So you think about the subject line and then don't write it in the beginning of the mail. So you write the message, you complete the mail and then come back to the subject line. It must be clear to the point. And then be very careful about your emotions. If you are in anger, if you are angry, do not write the mail. The mail is not something where you can express your emotions. So if you are in anger, wait for 24 hours and then start writing the mail. Jokes and humor, be very careful with jokes and humor. It is not the place. Business mails are not the place for jokes and humor. And then your sentences must be simple, short. Lengthy, long sentences will be difficult to read. And then it will be difficult to comprehend. One of the common mistakes non-native speakers of English make is they translate from their mother tongue to English, resulting in confusing long sentence. Be very careful about punctuations, capitals. Even Sophia Ronald said about that. So one needs to be very careful about punctuation. So the mail will reflect your character to whoever reads it. And then one subject per mail. Suppose if you have got two subjects, do not mix up both the subjects in one mail. The recipient will read, take action for one subject and then leave out the other, and he might delete your mail. And the other subject will be lost forever. So if you have two subjects, two things to speak, if you want two actions to be taken by the recipient, use two mails. And then close. While closing, remember you want, if you want the recipient to do some action as a result of your mail, write it very powerfully so that the recipient, so that it goes into the recipient mind and then it makes them to act. Very, very powerful words you must choose. Standard phrases. Okay. I want a report, by July 10th. Something like that. You make it more powerful. And then finally, if you want, you need to be positive. In writing emails, one need to be very positive. Positive words you must use. Don't use I can't, I won't, impossible. These are all negative words. As far as possible, I can, I am willing, I am ready, improve. There are a lot of positive words. So identify those positive words and whenever possible, use them in your mail. So that will reflect your attitude towards life. Now, finally, how do you improve continuously? So one of the greatest management expert, Edward Deming, said this: improve constantly and forever the system of production of goods and services in order to improve productivity and quality and thus constantly reduce cost. So you are in the system of production of goods and services. Many of you are listening to me are working for industries, software industries, manufacturing industries, service industries. So you need to improve. If you improve, what happens? The entire the system improves. So now improve constantly. So you are in the system. So in email writing, how do you improve? Now you need to get feedback. In any improvement activity, what is important is feedback. So in any mail, what you need? Feedback. You ask for feedback. Supposing you send a mail to your colleague, your close friend in the organization, and then you ask for feedback. That is one way to definitely improve your email writing skill. And then look out for some good mails. You will receive some mails which is well structured, which uses powerful language, a lot of standard phrases. So copy the mail, keep it with you, and then learn from that mail. And not only that, there are a lot of medias available, YouTube. Now, before giving this lecture, I listened to a lot of YouTube videos on email English. Some of the videos are really, really good. I picked up some good phrases. I had been working in industry for several years, but I didn't know this particular phrase, forgive me for chasing. That I was wondering whether you could, had time, whether you could have time to read the mail which I sent earlier. Forgive me for chasing. That is one of the phrases, very powerful phrase. When you want to chase somebody, when you want to follow up with your mail, this is the powerful phrase. So we learn from, seeing, YouTube videos. We learn from, reading some books. There are two important books available. Email English. One is Paul Emerson. Other one is Email English. I forgot the name. There are two important, very powerful books. So my wish to all those who are listening to me, is email is one of the important form of communication in this modern world. If you want to progress in your career, you need to give a lot of importance to that. You need to improve continuously. Now, if you are powerful in email communication, people will respect you. I thank all of you for listening to me so long. Thank you very much.